Agents of Nothing, and welcome to our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast. We're your commanding officers. I'm Mariah.
And I'm Caroline.
And today we're going to be talking about Season 3, Episode 22, Ascension.
Yeah. So Mariah, how was your week?
It's been good. I've been hard at work on a new crochet project as a gift to my mom.
Ooh.
So that's what I've been doing.
What's it going to look like?
Pretty much nonstop. So it is my childhood dog. It was a Bichon Frise.
Mm-hmm.
And she passed away last year. And I'm making a Bichon Frise amigurumi.
Oh, you're making Mimi.
Yeah.
That's so
I had
cute.
bought the pattern on Etsy and everything. And what I've learned is working with fuzzy yarn is a pain in the ass. And this is the most pieces I've ever had to sew together.
Yeah.
And I've learned I'm not good at that. So she's going to look a little wonky, but she's made with love.
That's so cute. Oh, I love that.
I'm almost done. I can see the finish line. By the time this comes out, I will probably... Well, I have to wait for more yarn to come in because I ran out of the fuzzy yarn.
Yeah.
But by the time this comes out, I will probably be done if all goes well.
Good.
Because I really just have, the legs and the tail left.
Yeah.
How was your week?
Mine was mostly good. I had my 90-day review at work, and it turns out I have tricked everyone into thinking that I'm really confident. Because so we do these you fill out a survey for people whenever their next review comes around, and so then you just have anonymous quotes from people answering different questions, and going through them, it was all she is super nice, always in a good mood, really nice and confident, super confident in her abilities, blah, blah, blah. It was the same thing over and over again. And so it was weird that so many of them said confident, because I was that's the thing that I have struggled with the most in my life for my whole life. So wow, I did it. I really faked it until I made it. It works, people.
Good for you. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. So, shall we get into this? The finale.
All right. The sneezing finale.
The sneezing finale.
All right. So this episode was written by Jed Whedon and directed by Kevin Tancharoen.
All right. So I don't know if this counts because it was just in the post-content content, but
we'll count it.
The only new character that we meet is Ada, and it's her birthday.
It's her birthday.
Happy birthday,
Ada.
All right. So we pick up where we left off with Daisy begging Hive to take her back. They seem to only vaguely remember her name, so I guess they're still struggling with all of their hosts' memories and reality and stuff like that. But when they try to reinfect Daisy, it doesn't work. She's impervious. The way he said impervious was so dramatic. But also, yay, vaccines! They work!
Yay!
This makes Daisy beyond angry, because if she can't have Hive, no one can. So then she quakes right at Hive's face over and over again, throws him back through the wall. We love to see it.
Love it. This scene already had me sobbing. I'm
Yeah.
Damn, okay, so it's starting already.
We're here. Yeah, I cried a lot through this episode.
Yeah. It was a very sad, very stressful episode.
Definitely. Inside, the rest of the team are trying to figure out what they're up against with the primitive Inhumans. Dr. Radcliffe gives them everything that he knows about them, like that they have peak adrenaline strength, bad eyesight, no original thoughts, and vague memories of their previous lives. And I mean, you take away the super strength, and that's me, baby.
Oh my god. Worse than a gremlin running at you is a gremlin shooting at you.
Oh my god, yes.
What the fuck? I liked them better when they were dumb.
Really? They were... they're horrifying, actually.
When they were just former watchdogs.
Yeah.
That was one thing.
But before S.H.I.E.L.D. can figure out their next move, the Primitives have made it into the vents. Why are the air vents so big on TV? I have never in my life seen an air vent that I could fit into.
I feel like you're like the size of like an average adult, and I don't know if the listeners know this, I am a very tiny, tiny person. I'm
very small.
4'11", and I like just hit 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, so I can fit into, I've seen a lot of air vents actually that I could fit into in my life.
Yeah, but you couldn't like run through them, because I feel like they were like, oh my god, they're in the vents, because they heard like bang, 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 bang.
I interpret that as them crawling. I don't know.
Still.
Because you can't really crawl stealthily, can you? I guess you can.
You'd have to like
but
slide.
Like it's you'd think that it would be very stealthy, but it's a noisy act crawling.
I mean, I guess they're not really trying to be stealthy.
Yeah.
They're like, we're here.
Suppose.
We're here, we're queer, and we're dumb.
That's our motto.
So back outside, Daisy and Hive's fight ensues. Hive kicks Daisy in the back, and there's like so much dust on her back. Why is she so dusty?
I don't know.
There was literally like a puff. That was crazy. So she finally has them cornered, knife to their chest. We love to see it. When they remind her that they can't die, and she says, I don't want you to die. I want you to suffer. Fuck yes. So then she stabs them over and over and then quakes them until they're like crumpled over on broken bones. And then Hive says, bones don't hold me up. I'm held up by all the pieces working together. And then a fucking drone helicopter comes in. That line was so silly.
But the way that they did like,
oh like, yeah, it was disgusting.
It was so gross.
Like fucking ew, I hated it.
I love that you know what I was talking about just by like me saying it.
Yeah.
The way that like he
crumples over and then he crumples back up. Hated it.
So gross.
Hated it.
So gross.
Bones don't hold me up. I laughed a lot at that. And I didn't want to, because Daisy's line, it goes hard as fuck. I don't want you to die. I want you to suffer. And then he comes back with bones don't hold me up. So S.H.I.E.L.D. is scrambling 2 by 2 to get things secured. They love a buddy system. Mac and Elena run into a primitive who got through the vents and into the armory, and then it opens fire on Mac as he walks through the door, but none of the bullets hit him. He turns around and Elena falls to the floor. And this part, literally, I was sobbing. Like, she took every bullet for him. And I guess we found out later she caught most of them, but she didn't catch one of them. Oh my god.
This episode is so emotional.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I was so stressed.
I think I cried harder for Elena than anybody else, actually, because that was so and it's like instinctual, you know?
Yeah.
She just loves him. Hive realizes that between Will and Ward, they have enough experience to fly the Zephyr. So, also they knocked Daisy out, I guess. I forgot. So, between Will and Ward's memories, they have enough experience to fly the Zephyr, so they take off with Daisy in tow as collateral. Because then S.H.I.E.L.D. won't just blow them up. They leave behind most of the primitives to take out S.H.I.E.L.D., and just, I had no idea how they were going to get out of this one. It did not look good. Coulson, Lincoln, Radcliffe, and Mac, carrying Elena, meet up and lock themselves in the workshop to get away from the primitives chasing them. And Simmons ends up in a fucking cobwebby basement boiler room, I guess, alone. And why do they even have a room that's covered in cobwebs? That was my question.
That's when I came upon a book covered in cobwebs. Story of a romance torn apart by fate. I'm going to cut that out. No one's going to get that.
No one's going to get it.
That's a deep cut.
I haven't listened to Timeless enough to know the lyrics yet. And so I was like, what? And then I caught the melody and I was like, okay.
Anyway.
But terrifyingly, Fitz, and also like giving us hope, Fitz and May have made it onto the Zephyr and they're hiding under the floor. Hive has set the autopilot to just rise straight up until they reach the stratosphere, and then they will release their formula to cover most of Europe. And then I think later on they say that it'll cover 3 continents. I don't know which 3, but 3 of them. So Mac is starting to spin out, trying to get someone to save Elena from this one room where there are no medical tools or supplies or anything. And Elena is bleeding out faster than most people because of the comic book science and about her metabolism and super speed. And so their only option is to cauterize the wound with a fucking blowtorch to stop the bleeding. But Elena wants only Mac to do it, not the literal medical doctor Lincoln.
I was so stressed. I'm stressed just talking about it.
It was so much. So the Inhumans break through the door into where Simmons is hiding, but luckily they're blind. Thank God. So she hides in the dark and holds her breath, and they quickly leave. And then Simmons gets an idea. She just goes, "The heat!" I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, babe? Once Elena is no longer bleeding, but she's not out of the woods yet. We traded one Taylor Swift reference for another.
Yeah.
Radcliffe is admiring some of Fitz's work, including the prosthetic hand. He asks Coulson if Fitz has a working model yet, and Coulson just holds up his own hand, and Radcliffe fucking yanks Coulson's hand over to look at it in awe, and he's like turning it all around. I loved it.
I do love Radcliffe. Like, he really pays Fitzsimmons their dues.
Absolutely. Speaking of, May and Fitz get through one of the primitives and are able to make contact with Daisy, who tells them that she doesn't want to be let out of her cage because she's a liability. Oh my God. Daisy, can we get past this?
Yes.
I belong in here.
I...
Babe.
You're
fine.
Something that you'll learn about Daisy is she has kind of this, not victim complex, that's the wrong word, but I don't know, I talk more about it later, but like a lot of characters in this show have this like simultaneous victim and hero complex where like everything bad that happens is my fault and I'm the only one who can fix it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I feel like the worst thing about Daisy, and not that this is bad in general, but like right now what's annoying me is she's so focused on like punishing herself.
Yeah.
Which like is good when you want to like be self-aware and like know what your flaws are and want to atone for the bad things that you've done. That's great. But like now you wanting to punish yourself is also inhibiting everybody else from being able to do their job and to actually fix the problem at hand. So like you're annoying me now. Anyway, so Fitz goes to find some weapons while May stays to talk some damn sense into Daisy. Back in the workshop, Elena is burning up. Lincoln says, "We need antibiotics." I don't know what accent that was that came out, but I loved it and I laughed at that a lot. I replayed him just saying that word over and over.
It's probably because Luke Mitchell is Australian in real life.
Have we talked about that before?
I don't know if we have.
I don't know. But yeah, antibiotics.
Yeah, he's over-exaggerating his words. I find a lot of fake American accent people do that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And it's funny.
Why did I refer to them as fake American accent people? You know what I meant.
I know. But yeah, it's funny because it's like, it's not that far off, but it's just a little bit not right.
Just a little bit.
And like everything else he does a great American accent most of the time. But like having just the one word come out was too much for me. So as Radcliffe is admiring Fitz's other inventions, the team realizes that the heat is on full blast even though the power is out. Radcliffe guesses that Simmons figured out how to fully blind the primitives, who apparently see in infrared, to turn up the heat to 100 degrees so that the humans in the base can move around unseen. And this is just amazing to me that he would guess that just from somebody saying, "Wow, it's really hot in here." They were like, "Oh God, it's so hot," and then
he's like, "Well, Simmons
turned up the heat." But luckily, he is not too proud to test his own theory out himself, and he's right. The primitives can't see him when he's literally right in front of them.
And I loved how Coulson was like, "We better follow him. He has no idea where he's going."
Yeah, that was good. So May stays with Daisy for a heart-to-heart while Fitz gets a box of weapons. Daisy says, "It's like he scraped me out of my own skull." She says her powers don't do anything against Hive, and she doesn't trust herself anymore because of all the bad things that she's done. And I just need someone to drill this into her brain that these were bad things that she was literally mind-controlled to do.
Yeah.
But May says that Daisy needs to balance the scales, do some good things to help negate some of the bad. May also says, "You can stay in the box for the rest of your life, but the hurt stays in there with you," which is just an excellent line, punctuated by Guerra fucking knocking May out from behind. So I guess
I jumped. Like,
Same.
It was such a good speech. I wasn't expecting it.
God. Guess we're done with that hype. Guerra takes a gun from Fitz and then points it at him, and I swear nobody is ever allowed to point a gun at Fitz or Simmons. Ever.
Ever.
Fitz yells for Guerra to stop because he has a hidden weapon on the plane that will kill Guerra, and if Fitz dies, he can't show Guerra where the weapon is. And Guerra falls for it because Fitz is a genius and a fantastic actor. It's almost like he does this for a living. So Guerra falls for it, and then it turns out that the weapon is an invisible pistol in Fitz's hand the whole time, and now Guerra is dead! Because Fitz is a genius.
Woo!
That was so funny. I did not expect that. So Fitz lets Daisy out and they get May into the next room to regroup. New problems. Daisy is still going through withdrawals from Hive's infection. The Zephyr is at a higher altitude than it was ever designed for, and the air is getting thin. And so Gentleman Fitz gives Daisy his jacket to keep her warm. But oh my God. We'll talk about it later. Back at the base, the team all rendezvous in Coulson's office as well. Coulson calls a Quinjet from his fancy bionic arm and tells them that they will get Elena and the rest to safety, and then Coulson is going back for May, Fitz, and Daisy on his own. He says that since he is the one who brought Hive to Earth, it's up to him to take Hive out. Blah, 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 blah.
See, this is where I put in the note about the victim-hero complex.
Absolutely. Every single one of them. I feel like you have to have that in order to work at S.H.I.E.L.D. It's like a required trait. So Hive is starting to think clearly again and sets the final coordinates. James tries to convince Hive to tweak the formula just a little so that the new Inhumans are still, hot enough for him. Hive ignores him, of course, and then finds out that Gira is dead and that they have 2 S.H.I.E.L.D. stowaways. Also, Coulson's Quinjet has just docked to the Zephyr. And then Daisy finds the cross necklace in the pocket of Fitz's jacket that she's wearing, and she recognizes the logo on the shoulder, and she realizes what she needs to do to fulfill her vision. Oh, fuck.
Daisy! Don't you go sacrificing yourself!
Don't you go breaking my heart.
I'm waggling my finger spiritually at you. So, with the series having been teasing the impending death of a major character in the possession of a golden cross and shield jacket at the time, the executive producers confirmed that the season's final episode would feature the death. They revealed before the airing of the episode that they would, quote, play a game of hot potato with the items to keep the identity of the dying character a mystery for as long as possible. Actor Clark Gregg said of the cast's experience with this aspect of the script, "We were very aware when someone would pick up the cross. There's a lot of sleight of hand with the cross. You don't want to be the last person holding the cross." Whedon discussed the cross as a symbol in the script, saying, "We like that the hot potato of death is this delicate little cross. We're fighting the devil. It's a question of faith." He also admitted that, quote, "Some of the potato tossing in the finale is just to mess with the viewers. Some of it's pretty meaningful as it passes hands, and some of it's painful for the audience."
Yeah, it was painful. And also, wait, so the cast didn't know which one of them was going to be killed off at the end of the season? Oh my god. That's so fucked up.
I didn't think about that.
Ian was like, God damn it, it's me. I'm not going to have a job. Oh, man. I'm glad it all worked out, I guess. So Hive greets Coulson in the docked Quinjet. And surprisingly, Coulson is alone? Or is he? They talk for a while, and Hive threatens to take over Coulson's body as their new host, and even shows their true face and says their own name, Alvius. And true face, Alvius, was awful.
Yeah, freaky.
Did not like that. Only to find out that Coulson was a hologram! The rest of the team obviously did not listen to Coulson's orders, so they are all sneaking onto the Zephyr right now as they speak and making their way to the cargo bay.
God, this team does such great work.
They do. And Coulson doing the Princess Leia. You're our only hope.
So good.
He's so silly. So the whole S.H.I.E.L.D. team reunites. And then Lincoln gets in a scuffle with James, who plans an explosion on Lincoln.
I always forget about this part.
I hate it. So Simmons quickly gets him stable, but says that they'll have to keep him as still as possible until they can get back on the ground. Daisy and Lincoln have a tear-filled reunion, and Daisy says that she can't live with what she's done. But Lincoln knows what she's going through and says he understands why she really went back to Hive. And he says that she's just going to have to find a way to keep living. Coulson starts to explain the plan to the rest of the team, while Daisy makes her very correct guess to Lincoln about Coulson's plan. They're going to try and load the warhead onto the remote-controlled Quinjet and send it out to space, where it will explode in a vacuum and the sway spray won't affect anyone. But even as Lincoln begs her not to, Daisy is off to sacrifice herself on that Quinjet before Coulson even finishes debriefing everyone else. Oh, and just then, more primitives show up, so the fight ensues again, obviously. What's a season finale without a big group fight scene? And even Simmons gets in on the action. I was so proud of her.
Look at her go. I couldn't help but note the shotgun axe.
Shotgun axe.
Yes.
Oh, Mac. He loves a good shotgun axe. I didn't remember when I was watching, but he did make a shotgun. This is the second time he's had a shotgun axe.
Yeah. The first one was a duct taped one, and then this one he actually built a shotgun axe.
Love that. I love that for him.
He's like,
I've been waiting for a reason to use this.
Yeah, he's like, I built this for a reason.
So Hive sneaks up behind Daisy, unstrapping the warhead, and they start talking about Destiny and how she would, or I guess she's strapping the warhead on to the Quinjet. They start talking about Destiny and how she would have to stay on board with Hive and the explosion to make sure that Hive didn't use Ward's memories to steer the jet back to Earth. And then suddenly, Lincoln pipes up from the cockpit, fucking bleeding all over the floor, and says that he fried all the manual controls, so the Quinjet can only be controlled remotely. And then he shocks Daisy back through the doors, and he hits the button for takeoff. And I'm crying.
Lincoln, my heart can't take it. No. I want to cry. It sounds like your dogs want to cry too.
They're very upset. So Daisy rushes back to the comms and radios Lincoln, and she realizes that he took the necklace from her.
Oh.
She says that he's not doing the right thing because this was supposed to be her sacrifice. And he says, I'm saving the girl I love and the world at the same time. It seems pretty right to me. I'm gonna cry right now.
I know.
So then they say their goodbyes and realize that this is the first time that he ever said he loved her out loud.
God, my note literally was, I'm literally sobbing. I know what happens and I'm still sobbing.
It was so good. So the radio cuts off and they lose connection just before the Quinjet's engines stop as they reach the outside of Earth's atmosphere. Hive and Lincoln stare at each other for a moment, realizing that they're trapped. Lincoln says they can try to sway him if they want, but he won't be able to work the Quinjet in space even if he wanted to. And Hive says they'll just have to settle for bonding over the one thing that Hive has never done before. Die. Oh my god.
So good, honestly. To lighten the mood, here is a goof. Lincoln and Hive are shown experiencing zero gravity. There is still a great deal of gravity beyond Earth's atmosphere. Astronauts experience zero gravity because their spaceships are in orbit, traveling so fast that they're in a constant state of freefall. In point of fact, the Zephyr would have started falling back into the upper atmosphere the moment the thrusters stopped.
Yeah, I kind of thought, I was like, is it gonna make it far enough out to not come back? But I guess it doesn't really matter, because it was gonna explode anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. Back to the sad stuff. So Daisy begs for Coulson to do something to save Lincoln, but there's nothing that they can do. Daisy says, he's paying for my mistake. And Coulson says, he's paying for all of our mistakes. And this is said over the image of Lincoln holding the cross necklace. And the Jesus parallel is very bold. And I just bet your dad loved that a lot.
I think Dad liked Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a lot because they even make mention of spirituality. My parents are the kinds of Christians that very much believe in like Christian persecution. Do you know what I'm saying? Like oh my God, they mentioned God on this TV show. Are they even allowed to do that? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like
the same way.
Mac was Christian and so was Yo-Yo, and Dad really liked that, and so I think he was less inclined to be offended by things from this show specifically.
Yeah. I can just imagine him being like, "What? It's just, it's just like Jesus.
Yeah.
No way.
No way.
So as Lincoln and Hive wait for the warhead to explode, they take in the planet before them, and Lincoln says, "At least I got to see the world."
So in Absolution, Coulson offered Lincoln a spot on the team, but Lincoln declined. When Mac asked what he planned to do instead, Lincoln said, "See the world, maybe?" Then when Lincoln was with Hive in the Quinjet in space, Lincoln looks out and sees the Earth. He says, "I got to see the world."
Ouch. Hive says that it's beautiful and that they only wanted to make it better. And Lincoln says, "I know." And I love that they had that little moment of like understanding each other.
Yeah.
Hive says that they just wanted to feel a connection. But they say that Lincoln must feel that connection already in order to sacrifice for the world like this, with all their flaws. And Lincoln says, "They're only human." I was sobbing so hard at this point, and I just know the writers, when they wrote that line, they were so fucking hyped.
I imagine, yeah. It's
just those two, literally like 8 words. With all their flaws, they're only human. And then they were like, "Fuck yes!" I can't believe we wrote that. Sorry, that was really loud.
It's all good. So after the episode reveals Lincoln Campbell to be the fallen agent, the executive producers said that they felt the character earned his heroic death after the way he had developed throughout the season. Which I kind of disagree.
Yeah.
But I don't think he developed into I think that he died a heroic death, yes. But I think that was kind of purely coincidence. He was going to quit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I feel like maybe because he had been like wanting to be a hero the whole season. He was like, "Please let me be a hero."
Yeah,
and
maybe
then they were
so.
like, "Okay, fine."
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. His final scene with Daisy Johnson, where they say goodbye over radios, was not an intentional homage to the similar scene between Captain America and Peggy Carter in Marvel's Captain America: The First Avenger, with the crew independently deciding to use the scenario because there's something heartbreaking about not being able to be face-to-face with the person.
I agree. I think probably part of it is that, like, well, because, like, you want to see their face, but also it kind of frees each person to fully react, you know? And, like, show the fear on their face, even if they're trying to keep it out of their voice for any reason. Like, man, it was so good.
Yeah.
So then the S.H.I.E.L.D. team stands frozen as they watch the explosion in the sky. And they're all obviously devastated. And eventually, Simmons asks what they do now. And then immediately cut to 6 months later. That cut was very jarring. So Coulson is in some apartment staking out a park bench from a nearby building. And he's surrounded by newspaper clippings of articles about a new vigilante or thief named Quake.
Daisy on her vigilante shit. For the 6-month time jump at the end of the episode, executive producer Marissa Tancher-Rowan called it, quote, a spin on our usual cliffhanger. With Whedon explaining that the series would have picked up 6 months later for the 4th season anyway, we just wanted to do it a little early this time.
Yeah. It's good. I liked it. So Daisy discreetly meets with a woman and a little girl at the park bench with new hair and a new attitude. I love this new look, honestly. The woman thanks her for the money, and Daisy gives the little girl a wood-carved robin and says that it's because the girl's name is Robin. And someone had a kid named Robin. Yeah. I don't know why this is familiar to me, but she says she's keeping a promise, and I just, like, to who? I don't know.
So remember Charles, the unhoused Inhuman who saw people's death whenever anyone touched him from earlier in the season?
Oh, fuck. Okay, yes.
Yes. So that's Robin.
Okay.
And when Daisy is talking to Robin and her mother, she says she wanted to introduce them to a friend of hers who has a practice nearby. He likes animals too, she said. She was clearly referring to her dad, who had been put through the Tahiti Protocol and given a new identity/life.
Oh, man. I totally forgot about that guy. Ugh. So Coulson and Mac call in backup and chase after Daisy, who very easily loses them by fucking jumping from the ground onto a nearby roof. She has really figured out her powers at this point, clearly.
Yeah.
Coulson tells Mac that they're going to have to call this in to the director? Who? Who will have to send the National Guard, and then they still won't find her, obviously. Okay, what?
Call the director? Sir?
Oh my god.
What?
Damn.
Oh, I'm so excited for next season. Anyway, actress Chloe Bennett said ahead of the episode's release, "This is the end of a chapter. More than a chapter. This might be the end of the first book of S.H.I.E.L.D. This finale feels like the end of something bigger and the beginning of a whole new tone for the show. It's completely nonstop. It's shocking, and it's also just really sad."
Yeah, for sure. Now we've taken a breath. And now it's time for the post-content content. Dr. Radcliffe is talking to his AI assistant, Ada, about what he is celebrating today. Ada goes through the through the list of possible things, like that he completed all of his hearings and his name has been officially cleared. But Radcliffe says it's not that, and it's nothing that he would have listed on his calendar, and at this point, if Ada was a real person, she would have quit because that's annoying. But he says that he wanted Fitz to be present for this little celebration because Fitz is where Radcliffe got the idea from. But alas, Fitz was too busy to attend because he was preparing a surprise for Gemma. Aww. And I just think it's so cute that he told the robot assistant that. He didn't just say, like, oh no, I'm busy that night. Sorry, I can't. He was like, I'm planning a surprise for Gemma, so I can't go that night. So cute. So finally, Radcliffe says that they are celebrating today because today, Ada is being born. New villain alert, I'm pretty sure. Oh my god.
I couldn't believe the next season tease already. Like, I was like, oh, I forgot that it's like this and that it's like, like that blatant. Like, I don't know. You'll still have surprises, but like, yeah, that is what the next season is.
Wow. Wow. This was such a good finale.
It was. Oh, so, overall thoughts?
I am confused, sad, and lonely in the best way. But But we finally got rid of Ward once and for all, didn't we?
Woo! Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch, oh witch, look a witch.
I really hope that saying that doesn't bite me in the ass at some point. But I'm in this moment, I am so happy to be rid of him.
Oh.
How about you? Any overall thoughts?
No, this, I texted Tyler that we were recording this episode today, and I told him that it was the sneezing finale. And he said, are you saying that because it makes you sneeze because it makes you cry so much? And I was like, no, but I guess that's close.
Cute.
And that's
Very
my
cute.
overall thought.
I love it. Well, happy sneezing finale.
Happy sneezing finale, everyone. That concludes our episode on the season 3 finale, Ascension.
Woo!
Next time we'll be reading listener emails, so stay tuned for that.
All right. Okay, bye.
Bye.